So I think from our perspective, we I think fortuitously started the journey about 4.5, 5 years ago, and we started with sort of a digital master plan and strategy. And as we sort of embarked on that journey, we got a partner who's been Accenture, and for the last 4 years they've been working with us to set up what's called the Bangalore Airport Accenture Innovation Center. And a lot of our initial digital strategy and master plan came out of the first year of development at the BAIC. Once we did that, we sort of worked on developing 4 or 5 key platforms that we focused on in terms of being transformational. And that sort of did 3 key things. We focused on enhancing customer experience, we focused on improving operational efficiency, and we focused on thinking about how our investments in digital technology could drive revenue generation. So those 3 things drove the digital transformation journey, and as we did that, we developed 4 or 5 platforms that I sort of alluded to. The first one is our contactless platform, which is called DigiYatra, that many of you have heard of. The second platform is enterprise automation platform that looks at automating all of our data at the airport. A third platform is our customer-facing digital platform, which includes a re-architecturing of our website and mobile app. A fourth platform is the sort of bedrock of everything that we do, which is our digital analytics platform, a PI and analytics platform. That's called DICE. And finally, we've just kicked off the implementation of an IoT platform at the airport, which will sort of tie into some of the other things that we're doing from an asset management as well as from the DICE perspective. So I think, as I said before, there were 3 fundamental objectives to our digital transformation journey. The first one was operational efficiency enhancement. The second one was customer experience enhancement. And the third one was how do we think about revenue generation in new ways. And I think every one of our platforms has sort of been driven by the fact that we need to have certain key metrics associated with the development and rollout of these platforms, and all of them have sort of been linked to one or the other. So the DICE platform is an analytics platform which focuses on 3 things: on our commercial performance, on our operational performance, and our financial performance. So it's linked to all of those things. The DigiYatra platform is focused primarily on improving passenger experience, but also in terms of reducing processing times at the different processing points. So that's directly connected to both operational performance and efficiency as well as passenger experience. The EDP platform, which is our customer-facing platform, is focused on improving the customer experience through sort of the re-architecturing of our website and mobile app. And that's, again, directly connected to how many users we can have on the platform, how we can engage with them, how we can provide them with sort of value-added services, personalization, improve their passenger journey, and things like that. And our automation platform is also specifically set up to improve the automation within the enterprise so that we can do all of these things better. So I think in all of these ways, like I said, 3 key sort of drivers: passenger experience, operational efficiency, and revenue generation. And all of this is sort of linked to how much we invest, when we invest, and how we can sort of realize those benefits. And I think it's been a long journey. We started off pretty slowly, and we've had to calibrate as we go along. But hopefully, we're starting to see the benefits. And I think the organization has bought into it very seriously, and that's been the big sort of driver. So I think we have to be very careful in terms of how we do that. But no, the idea is when passengers want and when passengers sort of use the airport often, as they sort of find value in the services that we're providing, and whether that's through Wi-Fi, whether that's through sort of some of the personalized services such as lounge access or fast track security or PRM or various other things, as we sort of roll these things out, I think we expect that the passengers themselves will see value in sort of signing on to the mobile app once they've downloaded it, and generating sort of enough to do on the app, or we believe that we will have enough on the app for them to actually want to use the app to help facilitate their journey, both from an operational perspective in terms of giving them information that they find useful, in terms of, say, walking times to the gate or navigational aids or a chatbot help, or how much time it might take its security or any of the processing points, or providing sort of the kind of offers that we might want to have, and they might be interested in through either an experience or duty free or retail or any one of those things. So I think that this will evolve, but the idea is that we do over time, to our frequent customers primarily, but also to sort of other passengers who use the airport, provide services that we think that will enhance their journey significantly, and they will actually find value in sort of using. But essentially, we're in the process of rolling out the 5 platforms, and as we move forward, I think they will evolve as well. So we're sort of, I would say, in the first version of each of those platforms. I suspect that we will refine them as we move forward. We will do a version 2 and then a version 3 of some of these things. I think the IoT platform, the enterprise automation platform, and some of those will probably not change dramatically because they're fairly straightforward sort of rollouts. But I think the data analytics platform, as we add features to it, the contactless boarding platform, which is Digiyatra, and certainly the passenger-facing sort of digital platform, which is the mobile and the web app, will probably go through several iterations over the next few years, because I think it's almost trial and error. We will learn certain things, we will probably make mistakes along the way, I hope not too many, and then I suspect that as it gets refined and as it sort of gets more useful to our users, right, we will sort of start tweaking that and providing upgrades and changes to it to make it much more sort of useful and relevant, and there may be things that we take out as well as we move forward. So I think those are the 5 key platforms. In addition, I think you might have seen in the news that we've signed a recent partnership with IBM, sort of from a wider perspective in terms of what we want to do at the airport for ICT and technology. And I think we will be working with them to sort of think about how we want to look at our wider landscape as far as architecture goes, as far as sort of the ICT landscape goes, and even from an information security perspective. Because as more and more of these features sort of come online, and as we add those services, I think the worry is also that how do we make sure we do it in a secure environment. So, Holly, I think at the end of the day, we are lucky in the fact that we are the airport serving the city of Bangalore. India in general is a country with a pretty young population, so that's one advantage. The second advantage is people are generally pretty tech savvy, at least the flying public. The average middle class Indian is very, very tech savvy, and everybody seems to be connected to a mobile. And more than anything, COVID has probably accelerated digital transformation and the adoption of a lot of these technology even sooner than we thought would happen. And I think Bangalore is known as the Silicon Valley of India. So I think we've again got an advantage, probably an unusual advantage, in the fact that people are very, very savvy as far as tech is concerned. So most of our customers seem to be pretty intrigued and pretty excited by the tech sort of features that we put out. In fact, if anything, I think they'd be pretty happy with the additional features. We probably can't keep up fast enough with what's out there. So we're working to provide the critical platforms that we think will address some fundamental needs of the passenger and the user. But we will probably find that as we go through this journey over the next few years, that we will add a lot more. And I think a lot of our customers give us feedback and sort of give us ideas too. And a lot of our innovation projects have come from people in the ecosystem in and around Bangalore and other parts of India who have actually come to us with very interesting ideas that we've then sort of taken forward to try and see how we can implement. I mean, it's not always a business case to actually implement them, and that's sometimes a challenge, because it's very interesting as a proof of concept or as an idea, but to sort of be able to implement something as a rollout, I think that takes a little more doing. But we've always had some great ideas, and sort of we've had fun doing the tech and the innovation. And I think one of the things that our team thrives on is the fact that we can sort of experiment and we can do some of these things. Yes, you raised a very interesting point. Before COVID struck us, right, Bangalore airport opened, the new airport was commissioned in 2008. And in the first 10 years, when we celebrated our 10th anniversary, we had tripled in traffic volumes from 9 million in 2008 to about 27 million annual passengers in 2018. And in the preceding 5-year periods before COVID hit, we were actually the fastest growing airport in the world in terms of growth rate. We had growth rates of 5-year compounded growth rates of 12%, 17%, and 20%. And that was incredible. And we just accelerated tremendously. So in 2019, 18-19, when we did our master plan update, when we did our forecast, we expected traffic to triple once again in traffic volumes in the next 10 years. So we were going to be about 80 million by the end of the 2020s. And that was sort of the size of Heathrow on a 2-runway system, right? So when we did the master plan, our plan was how do we cater to a demand of about between 80 and 100 million passengers on the 2-runway system. So at this point, we've got the master plan in place to take us out to 80 million passengers. COVID has sort of really clamped the brakes on in terms of passenger traffic and demand. And even now, my personal view is that it's not that people don't want to travel. I think with all of the rules and regulations, they're just scared of getting stuck somewhere. So it's not that the demand isn't there, but I think fundamentally, it's been sort of shortened or it's been curtailed by the fact that COVID has put all of these restrictions. Before COVID hit also, corporate traffic was a huge driver of demand, especially in the Bangalore region. I think that's changed a little bit. A lot more people are doing leisure and sort of visiting friends and family sort of traffic today. But I think the traffic will come back. And if I'm not mistaken, before COVID, we had 3.6 billion annual passenger trips in the world. And if you're adding 400 million, as you said, to it, that's about 4 billion passenger trips. So I'm pretty sure that we'll hit our 80 million then by the early 2030s. So I think we're okay. We're in a good place. We're opening our new terminal next year. We opened a second parallel runway in December 2019. So from a capacity perspective, I think we're okay for the next few years. But I think we will probably have to start investing once again 3 or 4 years from now, because the traffic volumes will pick up. I mean, India has also had a very surprising way of beating estimates. And even though we've sort of seen a huge reduction in the last 18 months, I suspect that we're going to sort of grow crazily once sort of restrictions are removed. And we will hit that 80 million number probably sooner than we think. So I'm pretty optimistic. No, and I'll tell you why. I mean, actually, I think we had a terminal that was originally designed for about 22 to 24 million that had been expanded in phases to about 30 million, and we were already operating at about 33 million before COVID hit. So I think, and what we were doing at that point is also we were operating on a single runway. So what had happened actually is that we had peak hours, but the problem is that the shoulders were also getting sort of pretty busy, the shoulders of the peaks. So I think in a sort of fortuitous way, we didn't have to go through shutting of terminals. What has happened though is that the new terminal, Terminal 2, which was supposed to be open in March 21, has now got postponed to sometime in 22. And I think what that has done is it's given us the time. So by the time the traffic recovers and we sort of get back to some degree of demand by next year, I suspect that the opening of the new terminal will be timed very nicely for that. So I think we should be okay. Yes, I mean, we're always excited to talk about our airport city. I think that is going to be a destination in itself, and that's how it's been envisioned. As some of you might know, the airport was a greenfield airport that was commissioned in 2008, May 2008, and it's about 30 kilometers north of the city. So one of the things that has happened in Bangalore is that the city has moved north as the airport sort of has developed. The growth of the city has been towards the northern side of the city, and we expect the metro to also reach the airport in the next 4 or 5 years. I think by 24-25 we should have the metro connectivity as well. So we've earmarked about 460 acres of land at the airport for real estate development in phases. The first phase has just kicked off, and the first phase has about 176 acres under development. And the first project there is a 3D printing facility. So essentially it's a company that actually does 3D printing. So our focus is going to be on 3 or 4 asset classes: high-tech sort of industries, warehousing, which is focusing on e-commerce and other things like that, built-to-suit offices, hospitality, and retail, dining and entertainment. And we've got various asset classes that are in different stages of development. The first one, as I said, was a 3D printing facility. We've also got a cloud kitchen where SATs will come in and develop a cloud kitchen. And we're pretty optimistic and hopeful that over the course of the next few years we will also, develop the other asset classes. As I said, the first phase should be done in about 5 years from now, and then we expect that the full build out will happen over the course of the next 10 to 12 years.